How would you even decide how to break the tie? Because they all have cons.
I work very simply. I do it the other way around. So it's definitely not licorice. He's not going there.
That is very fair.
Who was top lane on
Fake God.
Immortals? Castle? No, thank you.
Yeah, Fake God.
Fake God. I mean, I'm considering him right now because I'm biased because
He had some good Nar games against you.
He had some very good Nar games against me, and just in general.
You got the 100 Thieves
Then we got
Sniper
snipes,
as
so
well.
it's like I'm looking at like what Fake God snipes.
Okay, I'll
Who
take
else is
that,
there?
you know?
Wait, there's one
Dokla?
more. Dokla.
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 Yeah, I mean,
Exactly my point. Flip a coin, throw it on the table.
bro.
I don't give a shit. Like.
Welcome back to Pros. End of Week 7 LCS regular season. Got a really exciting group of pros. Blaber, Bwipo, Sniper. Have to mention, though, a lot of people have been asking for it. Pros is available on Spotify for now, so if you want the podcast-only version, you can find that over on Spotify. But let's talk about C9 versus FlyQuest right off the bat. You two played earlier today. Blaber, congratulations on the victory. What were some of your thoughts on the match?
I think that it was a pretty close match, honestly, in general. I think they had some good swaps. I think swapping against Nyla was actually pretty annoying because she was able to get a huge XP lead, and then with what ended up happening, Nautilus was also like pretty far ahead. So I basically had no prio anywhere, and I'm playing Brand, who can't go anywhere by himself. So I got a bit lucky that they had a bad fight topside, but if they didn't fight there, my game was like pretty much over. Because I was able to get all my camps. And then I was like, oh, this is so, like I was telling my team, this is so good for me. Like, but because of that, I was actually fine in the game. But yeah, it was pretty hard to play, game 2. And then game 1, I think, I don't remember what happened in game 1. What even happened in game 1?
It was the closest 2-0 series maybe we've had, because both games were super close. What do you feel like about the series, Bwipo? What happened in game 1?
Game 1, it's a good question. I remember swapping, and we showed us on a bit too early when she recalled, so an RTP top and got a bit more than he should have, but I didn't mind. I just remember distinctly the game got decided when, or like we were in a really bad spot when we had a 2v2 top, and like it looked really good, so I initiated more, but I misunderstood the comms and.
Oh, I remember.
yeah, we're looking over it.
Is this the game 2?
No,
game 1.
It's game 1.
game
I
one
was
play.
playing Cassandra and I flashed in, and like me and Quad flashed in trying to like clean up because we thought like, oh, Zeri's first, but no one communicated about Braum, so we lost track of Braum, and then like, oh, Braum's here too. Ooh.
And then Leona Eden afterwards to like try to salvage a 2v4, and then we killed everyone.
We got aced, and that game went south after that.
I remember
and then
that,
game
actually.
2 was, I think it was pretty free. Like, especially that moment, I realized like if that's a normal wave, I can proxy it, but because it was a cannon wave, I can't do it in time. So I ended up baiting Inspired into a really bad fight because we would have got both Brand's top camps there, and there was like no counterplay for them. And basically the game would have been done from that point onwards because I already had a huge gold lead from like getting a kill and getting like 3 plates. I was farming plates. I was smurfing on them.
There was we saw the interview, or I don't know if you saw, but we had Busio in here during the commercial break interview, and he was mentioning the like game 2 draft was a little bit almost like YOLO. Like you were saying, pick me Nautilus no matter what, and then you just kind of play Nyla. We were very confused when you originally saw the draft, or at least the casters were, because it was Nautilus and Rakan. They were speculating whether we'd see some like Nyla or Neela. How do you say it?
I think it's supposed to be Neela.
Yeah, I say Nyla, but
no.
it's
supposed to be
I don't
Nyla.
know. Yeah.
Someone on YouTube's
As far as I understand.
Yeah, that AD champ Neela thought there was going to be some shenanigans moving between like mid and bot lane. Was that like a looser draft because you feel like you're going to be playing C9 in playoffs in round 2 anyway?
I don't want to get into it too much. I think.
What do you mean, anyways? They had to play energy.
This is kind of what Busio said. He's like, well, yeah, if we just need energy, we're going to play C9 again.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to get into like all the reasons why I think it was good. I know I called for Nautilus because. Yeah, I don't know. I'm good at tanks, so I can blind pick any tank against pretty much anyone in this region, and they're not going to carry the game, so I might as well. And Nautilus is just another tank.
Besides me, of course. I got my
Besides Sniper,
yeah,
Good
exactly.
thing you're on the opposite side of the bracket.
No. We'll get there. We'll play against one of you guys soon.
Yeah, we were worried about them doing the. We weren't worried, but like there was a strat in Vietnam where they were flashing over the wall of one and double proxying ways.
Yeah.
And we watched a video about it like 2 weeks ago, and we were talking about it, so we were like, dude, I hope they don't flash over our walls, but...
Oh my gosh, what the heck?
Yeah, if you watch the game, I'm like running around in my jungle, checking every bush.
But did it actually work out though?
No, it was terrible what they did.
Oh,
they ended up winning the game, but they got double killed.
Oh, I see. Okay. Wait, so like it wasn't even good, you know? Like why even try that in the first place?
It wasn't that bad because you get level 2 off one wave. Because of the way it works with Nyla passive. So they took 2 waves, and then it's good for
Then
solo
everyone's
innocence.
level 2.
Gotcha.
No,
Oh, I see.
the 2 people who go over the wall hit level 2.
Level 2 first. Okay, I see what you mean.
And they took both waves, and then they just died at the tower or something.
Oh, wow.
You got a lot of tempo, I guess.
Yeah. Guess
Yeah,
it works out for
we
them.
weren't cooking that much.
Yeah, Sniper, what did you think of the Fly C9 series?
I mean, it was just like another off day for me. I was
Yeah.
just chilling, and then I just randomly saw that C9 2-0 at FlyQuest. So I just looked at the games, and
Yeah.
it was kind of close, you know? Like, you guys were just perma-fighting each other, and, I mean, it's a game I would also want to play.
Who'd you think was going to win? Because you saw the result, but just like yesterday, you're just like, oh yeah, who's going to be the number 2 seed?
I mean, we did get 0-2'd by Cloud9 when we played against you guys, and we did 1-2 you guys, so I expected to win, you know?
That's how we judged it. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I
Simple
like
maths,
makes
it
sense.
adds up.
Yeah, I mean, just from like what happened on stage, you know, I thought you
sense.
guys were gonna win for sure. But I didn't expect 2-0.
Yeah, you thought it'd be 2-1?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, 2-1 C9. That's what I thought.
How's your anxiety now that you've actually won a few series? Because you guys were probably pretty stressed after you I think started 1-4
1
and
and
you
4.
ended 3-4.
Exactly, yeah.
So how much better do you feel now?
I mean, I'm slowly starting to feel good again. I feel
Yeah.
like it's still not as good as like where I wanted to be when I was like playing last split. So it's definitely gotten better now that we're winning, but I'm like not satisfied whatsoever with how I'm playing and how my teammates are, or I guess with how I'm playing at least. But I'll get there eventually.
Yeah. How do you feel going into playoffs?
Well, I feel very confident in
Yeah.
the first round because we're playing versus Dignitas, I think, and I feel like I match up against Licorice like really well. So I just can't wait to play against Dignitas and destroy them. 3-0.
So since it's the other side of the bracket, you can probably speak freely on your Dignitas Hunter Thieves thoughts.
I mean, I think Dignitas are pretty bad.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. Like,
Yeah.
they're like they meme a lot about how like their scrims and stuff. Like, I think it's like they're really bad in scrims. Like really, really
Yeah,
bad.
like we're
So,
even beating them, you know? Like 5-0 sometimes, 6-0, like
So
it's not
I don't
hard.
think they will beat 100, but I mean, they sometimes show up on stage. You know, they took a game off us. They took a game off TL, I believe. So maybe they'll show up.
I mean, Dignitas is do nothing and hope you don't lose team. So they just draft champions that are good in the game, like just good League of Legends champions, and then they hope they don't lose because of their individual mistakes. Which, I mean, basically, if you squeeze their players, they're going to make mistakes. If you don't squeeze, they will farm and scale, and they're experienced players, so they're not going to like throw the game later, you know. So I really think that if you feel confident and you can play your early game and you actually like squeeze where you're supposed to squeeze in your draft, you know, like usually a draft has some counter pick or whatever, you know, going on for you, some advantage somewhere. As long as you squeeze there, that player on Dignitas is gonna int. So just make sure you squeeze. If you do nothing and just like farm and scale, then obviously like they pick good champions mid and late game, and their players are experienced, so they're not gonna make mistakes at that point of the game. But I think that there's a lot of holes in their laning phases and a lot of holes in their macro gameplay.
Well, who's that person or who's that player that you're
That's what I'm
talking
saying.
about?
Like, it doesn't matter. Every
doesn't
single
matter.
lane they
Yeah,
have.
he was just saying
Every single lane is
everyone,
vulnerable.
yeah.
Every single player on that
gotcha.
team and
Okay,
every single lane is vulnerable if you squeeze. So just pick where you want to squeeze and do it together. And I think the rest comes naturally. I don't think they're terrible early game in the sense you get a free win. But if you manage to keep the game on your pace, and then you go into mid game, they have no hope. Mid game.
They're terrible.
I mean,
mid-game,
I
you
agree with
think?
the one.
Like,
They don't do very much. They do almost nothing, and
Yeah.
they pick like decent scaling team comps almost every game, and then they pray that you're bad.
Okay.
That's what I think. Like, yeah, too.
They had a roughie today. They did win the series against Immortals.
I mean, they should have lost game 2 if Tidal didn't get hooked.
Yeah.
Or if IMT just played a bit better on their Baron push. I don't know like what was happening there. There were 4 people standing in one lane, Renekton's TPing from the Wolf. To
Yeah,
the
that
top.
was crazy to watch.
I don't know
like,
what
when
was
I
going
just
on
chilling,
there.
so,
Like I
what
don't
the
know.
heck?
Maybe they're too nervous.
It's probably the story of Immortals.
Yeah, probably started Worlds. Like,
Yeah, you guys were talking earlier about Shopify and how they actually got a little more scary once they were eliminated. You played against them this weekend. So that was a strange series, man.
It was, yeah.
That was a strange series because they lost game 1, which eliminated them. And then I do want to know, I feel bad for Spooks because he's head coach for the week. And then you guys are playing Kane in game 3 in the series. How loose did you take the last 2 games of that Shopify series?
I mean, yeah, Sam or Spook, sorry, just said like,
Yeah.
we can just kind of have fun with it. Like, we're already in playoffs. It doesn't really matter anymore. So we kind of just picked whatever champions we wanted to play on the given day. And it didn't necessarily work out. Like, we almost somehow lost. Or we did lose game 2, actually, which was like very strange. But then we just took it back during game 3 because I was obviously on like a very OP pick. And yeah, like, we just got the series win, you know? So, like, take those.
Okay. What was your OP pick?
K'Sante. I think
K'Sante.
K'Sante,
Okay.
like, bro, the champion's just always been broken, you know? Like,
Yeah.
Central East?
and it's since release,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
since release. So, yeah, I was on K'Sante, can never lose, you know? I'm the go on the champion. Yeah. Well, yeah.
You're going,
I mean,
You did beat me when I was playing K'Sante,
What
so
did I
you
play?
could say that. You played Darius into my K'Sante.
oh yeah, you
walked
forgot
up
that I
before.
could not press recall.
Yeah. No, I just like
got a solo
didn't
kill that
face
game, I
check
remember,
you.
actually.
Or I should have faced
Like that's why, I can't really call it a solo kill. You know, it's just like I'm pretty sure he's gonna greed, and I'm just sitting there like,
It worked out, you know, like it worked out for
sure
you.
it
So it
did.
made sense.
You sure did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember dying to that one in the early stages of my career as well.
It's an experience thing.
It really is,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah.
Like just thinking about like actually taking a moment to just like think about like what if he didn't recall, you know? Like that's something you need to happen. I think a big thing about experience is actually having presence of mind in the moment. That's what experience allows you, you know, is to see the whole picture. And it goes to a lot of situations. I'll give you an example. I hadn't played internationally in a while, so at MSI, for example, I was making mistakes on stage that I would never have past like my first year of playing in professional league. So at MSI 2018, for example, I got like a huge amount of experience, right? Where I would be thinking about things that you don't see happen regionally. Like people only squeeze that out of you in an international setting when it comes to like how you use your TP, how you lane, how you include your jungler, how they include their jungler. Like these things, the best teams in the world are just better than your average regional team. So experience allows you to kind of have that perspective of like, oh, the picture was bigger than I thought it was. And that's like a small example where, if you just base TP there, I can't do anything. But if you don't, and you try to push,
You can
you
actually
may
do something,
be in
you know?
big trouble, you know, exactly. Like then it's like a huge lead for me. Whereas if you base TP, I can still lane afterwards because I was fine conditioned, but I wouldn't be able to squeeze anything for the rest of the lane. So if you came to that conclusion and came to that outcome, then me standing in that bush is actually somewhat of a negative for me. Whereas I got on the winning side of the flip, and that's like the fun thing about a competitive game, where it's like I'm taking a small risk. It's not a huge risk, but it makes it so that I can't get a guaranteed lead. So I wouldn't get any CS lead or anything if I make that play, because now I have to play to get a recall. I can't play to bully my lane opponent. That's the risk I'm taking. But the reward is a potential kill or getting summoners and then blowing open the whole laning phase. And that's just something you need to be thinking about when you're playing on the defensive side of that kind of lane.
A little bit of a follow-up for you, Sniper. So you're talking about the almost increased pressure of international play, where you lose your presence of mind with the opponents you're playing against in international play?
Well, not only that,
bit.
but they're also a bit more like creative when it comes to how to win the game and like how to squeeze advantages out of you. They're not only more creative, but they're just better.
They're just better, yeah.
But that's a part of it. The stress is a huge, like it is a part of it, but also more so like they're just, you know how like on any given wave, on any given time on the map, you can have your support there if you wanted to.
Like
that's almost the way it can be, right?
Yep.
If you're creative enough, you can include up to maybe 5 players in a single play, right? You need to have priority and you can be creative enough.
I was just going to ask you about now that we're going into playoffs again. 100 Thieves was really, you guys were good right away, and then that almost raised the expectations really high, and then playoffs was a struggle. Was there any particular reason for that you're reflecting on now in terms of pressure, and that maybe you would be more ready for the second time around?
That's a pretty good question. I think I was actually talking to Bwipo about it earlier, where I felt like during the regular season of last split, I had like a really good process. I like stuck with the process, and it got me to where I was, which was like I was one of the best top laners.
What was your process?
It was, well, I don't really want to get too deep into like what I was doing, but then just all of a sudden it stopped working for me. Then I just completely collapsed when I played against you guys, when I played against C9.
When did we play? Week 3?
It was, it was last split, like during playoffs.
last
It was
split.
first round.
Our first
I think
round.
you played against
first
like
round
TF Top in game 1 or something.
I remember
right?
that.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I kind of had to just adjust how I was playing, and it took me a series to get to that point. But I mean, it was just unfortunate, and it was like a very big learning experience for me. So I definitely made the best out of it.
Awesome. I want to do a quick hit on TL as well, because I think there's some nuance here in their like undefeated split. because they are the undefeated team. It's never been done before, but we've also never played 7 matches in a whole year. I did like a whole little bit on it. There was, I think, like 2016 TSM started 14-0 when they were double round robin best of threes before losing. You guys in 2020 went 17-1 overall. Original C9 went like 25-3 when we were doing like double round robin. Or quadruple round robin, 8 teams back in 2013.
Holy
you would have been like
7 years old, yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, I was just trying to like put into context, and it's fine because they are the competition in future weeks. But just how do you guys feel like that accomplishment should rank in terms of like greatest seasons in LCS history?
I mean, what do you guys think? Because I've only been playing LCS for
How long have you been watching LCS?
Oh, I guess I've been watching LCS ever since 2015 or 2016.
Okay, so you saw Immortals go 17-1.
Well, I was only watching C9 actually. I was just watching C9 and like TSM, you know,
Nice.
like those are the only games that I care about. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely impressive, you know, where TL is out right now. So you got to give them like the benefit of the doubt, you know. So yeah, I mean, we're gonna beat them when we play against them in playoffs.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's gonna matter. Their regular season score is gonna matter.
It doesn't matter because you're gonna veto.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, what do you guys think?
I mean, I don't think. I mean, I think it's impressive to go 7-0. Like, but I don't think it ranks near like any of the teams that have been at the top. Like, not even just including mine. It's like if they went 14-0, I wouldn't care how many losses they had. I would be like, okay, they beat every team twice. Like, that's pretty impactful. And it's like, I feel like I don't know, they're 14-3 this split. I feel like there's been a lot of teams that have done something like that, and I don't feel like it's. I mean, it's an undefeated series split, I guess, but it's definitely not an undefeated split, right? They lost, and
I agree.
I think it's harder to judge. It's also like, I don't know, for me, like the single round robin is like really weird because like for us, we didn't have side select versus Fly and TL. Like it doesn't really matter, but it's like you don't get to choose who you have side select against. Like we unluckily flipped the coin and didn't get side select versus our 2 toughest opponents. Like I don't think it like matters that much, but it is like it will play into how well you do for like a whole split if you have double round robin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think international success is what like kind of holds more weight.
Yeah, I agree with
You
that.
mentioned Immortals 2017. Like, who talks about that? 17.
Yeah, 2016 they didn't even make it. Yeah.
No one talks about it because like they didn't make it to international competition, so no one cares. Fnatic made their undefeated split in 2015. Everyone talks about that one because not only is it undefeated, but they were also a great team at Worlds.
They made
So
semi
my
that
point
year,
is,
right?
yeah, they did. So my point is a regular split has to have like a great like regular split has to have a follow up for people to care about the fact that it happened.
Right. So if TL happened to win the split, but then also made World semifinals, then maybe in retrospect people would say like, man, undefeated split.
I mean, even if they win this split, I think people will definitely talk about it. Not just like, I mean, I think international performance will be really important to their split. But like, if they win the split, I think people will talk about it a
I
lot
do think
more.
winning a split, like winning a split is sufficient. But I think if you don't win the whole split, then you need some international competition to keep the relevance going.
Yeah.
Like some international performance, which by the way, I think both are very possible for TL. I think they're a great team. They're definitely the best team in the LCS in my book. I'm not sold that we can't beat them. I definitely feel like we can be great competition. Same for C9 for that matter. So that's exciting for me. But they are very good.
Yeah, I mean, you both 2-1, pretty close series. You at the first series of the split, you guys in week 6. And yeah, I think I agree with you, Blaber, in terms of if they'd gone 14-0. Also, if they had gone like 14-0 in games, I think then also
that would be
it's a bit of the
different,
conversation. But with the 3-game drop, they did everything they needed to do, which is still very impressive. But the overall ranking is probably still below the other teams that are mentioned: 2020 C9, 2016 Immortals, probably 2016 TSM. So yeah, still a really good split. I don't want to like de-hype it,
still a good
but
split.
I don't want to overhype it either. You know?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, they're definitely one of the best, or they're probably the best team in the league right now, too. So makes sense that they're 7-0, I guess.
Yeah.
Do you guys think about All-Pro at all in your weekly lives, or only when you had to fill out the ballots? Do you do the ballot for C9?
I'm doing the ballot this year, but I haven't thought about it until an hour ago when I got the email.
We just got the email, so I haven't filled it out yet.
Wait, email for what?
So All-Pro voting. Who does the All-Pro voting on 100 Thieves?
I think it's our coaches actually that do it.
Okay, so the coaches.
Just one player does it?
There's a coach
gotcha,
vote
okay.
and then a player vote for each team.
Yeah.
And then the only rules are you can't vote for your own team in the ballot.
Yeah, I got you.
So
I have no idea then. I have no idea who's
It's
doing
not.
it
It's
for
not you
us.
then.
Yeah,
It's not
so
you.
it's not you.
Probably isn't me, yeah, unfortunately.
Well,
But
people
it
just
is what it
pick
is.
one guy. We always sat down together when I was doing it in Fnatic. Like we'd all sit down together and like yell at the screen, you know. Like, this guy's first. Like, no, that guy's trash. No way, that guy picked this into the. I destroyed him. No way, we're putting him first.
We were doing that last split actually.
Hey, that always
probably the balance.
pure content. Pure
It was only
content.
last split though. I don't
Yeah.
know. Or we'll probably do it.
We'll probably do it together because we have until the 14th to do it.
Yeah.
At least for us on C9, it's like we kind of let the person who plays the role kind of choose it.
Yeah.
More so, obviously, like since I'm doing it, I'll have final say. If they give me some really troll answers, I'm not gonna put it down. But like, usually we just talk to each other, and then we let the person who plays that role decide. Because like, yeah,
Can you do your jungle
very
one?
not including myself, right?
Yeah, because you can.
It would probably be Inspired, and then probably Boogie. I would put on my ballot.
Right.
I haven't thought about it too much, but
Yeah.
that's probably what I would put.
Not final. Do you have any quick thoughts of who you'd put for top lane?
I mean, pretty easy, no? Like, it's just like Impact, put C9 top laner, Thanatos up there, and then like, I don't know, who cares?
I'm right here, bro. I'm the other top laner that you could also choose from, you know?
Yeah,
Well, I haven't had the
honestly,
best
that's what I'm saying.
Quest,
Like,
but
what I'm trying to say is like, I think third here is like,
if you had to say, you know,
I mean, like, my
besides
point
yourself.
is like, well, that's what I'm saying is,
I'm
I think like, if I remove myself from the equation, I think
Yeah.
you can make an argument for everyone, and that's not in a good way.
Yeah, of course, you know, like
You've got Thanatos, you've got Impact, and then like if you like then you got me, right? And I don't mind which order you put them in, but I think that should be the L Pro vote for top lane, at least my opinion. I don't think any top laner stood out on any other team. Like for example, you did when you were in spring, you stood out.
Of course.
So it made sense to put you even if C9 or TL had a better regular season or whatever it was. I don't actually remember what you guys' score was in the end.
we were top two.
they were second, they were
actually
second, yeah.
tied
You
for
guys are
first
just
place,
goated.
but- Yeah, no, we were, you know.
They were
like,
tied with you
but-
guys.
So you guys were just goated. Does that make sense? But this regular split, it's like, if you try to think of the top three teams, and it's like, okay, like you want to put me fourth and put like whoever you want third, like sure. But I definitely think it's Thanatos and Impact 1-2, and then like I said, if you want to put me third, because why not? Then go ahead. If you don't, I don't mind.
But if you're doing a ballot, just because Sniper, I think Sniper really wants to know, because you can't put yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
And you
Like,
need to put a
it's-
third top laner in.
Yeah, if you had to say, you don't
How would you even decide how to break the tie? Because they all have cons.
I work very simply. I do it the other way around. So it's definitely not licorice. He's not going there.
That is very fair.
Who was top lane on
Fake God.
Immortals? Castle? No, thank you.
Yeah, fake god.
Fake God. I mean, I'm considering him right now because I'm biased because
He had some good Gnar games
He
against
had
you.
some very good Gnar games
yeah.
against me, and just in general in scrims, like when he plays meta matchups, he doesn't like he plays like really disciplined. So it's good practice for me. So
Yeah.
I like him for that.
You got snipes.
Yeah, you got the 100 Thieves
Then we got
top laner as
snipes,
well.
so it's like I'm looking at like what Fake God snipes.
Okay, I'll
Who else
take
is
that,
there?
you know?
Wait, there's
Dokla?
one more. Dokla.
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 Yeah, I mean,
Exactly my point. Flip a coin, throw it on the
bro,
table.
bro.
I don't give a shit. Like,
oh my god.
like, let's be real. Like,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. I think all of them can play some good League of Legends. Like I'm going to be playing Dokla in the best of 5. Like I don't think he's bad at the game or anything, but it's just like, you know, like was his performance or the performance of their teams, like were the top laners relevant in their teams'
Victories and stuff.
success, basically? Not just victories, but like as a team, like as a brand on the split, during the split, right? Like Team Liquid, you think Impact, would that team be as good if you put an equally, like a similarly skilled player in that team? Would the dynamic still work if you had a carry top laner? No, it wouldn't. That means he's playing a big part in that team, right? That's what I think about. Like you put a different Gnar or Necton player in C9 and you'd probably have similar results. If he lane just as good as he did, that's what I believe.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I wouldn't put him second. That's where I'm at, you know. I'm big on personal and like individual achievements as like not achievements, but I'm big on like an individual marking their flavor on a team. You know what I mean? Like when a player makes me go like that team is different if he's not playing on it. And you mentioned Boogie, and I think that's why everyone like has him up there. Is because
Right.
Shopify with, Shopify without, it's a night and day.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, yeah, for my third is like kind of the same with why I don't really know who I would put
Yeah.
at third. So
Well,
Boogie's done the most to turn his team around, I feel like.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm
What
gonna
about
have-
River? What about River? Do you think he's still like?
I mean, River was getting kind of shit on by Boogie yesterday, I'm not going to lie.
Like
so
he was playing like Kane and stuff, you know? He was playing just like random junglers.
he
So,
got
like,
solo kill in the Sejuani Evelyn matchup. on
Okay,
level 3.
well, Okay, it's because I trolled him. It's actually because I trolled him. I didn't 3F crash and then like.
No, I remember him
because
hinting multiple games. This split he's been running it.
Standing up for his jungler.
No, I appreciate it.
I don't think he hasn't been playing that good. In my opinion, he hasn't been playing that good this split.
I agree.
Compared to what I would expect from River, in
That's
the
true,
past.
too.
Yeah.
Got you. Okay, I see. Yeah. All right, I was just curious, I was curious what you
I
thought.
think that's big as well, and like when you consider a player and like his competition is a lot of people they look at a player and they have like a certain notion of how good the player is, and when he doesn't live up to that level, even though he still may be better than his competition, you're automatically going to put him lower because he wasn't significantly better than everyone else when you expected him to be.
Of course.
Yeah, that's true too.
I'm going to be really interested looking at the coach and player ballots more so than the caster or media ballots, because I think this, I'm a great pitch person for awards, is going to be maybe the most disappointing All-Pro we see, only because, if I think about it holistically, the whole split, the storyline has been FlyQuest, C9, TL, these three way above the rest. So I go to every single team, and I'm like, I think we might only have 3 teams on all 3 All-Pro teams. It's so hard for Boogie to move up, for you to move up above Bwipo, or Thanatos or Impact. And on paper, I understand that that's why that's probably going to happen, because it's so hard to justify a case for one of the players on the other 5 teams to make it into an All-Pro team. But I also think it's a little bit ludicrous to think that the 15 best players in the entire LCS are all concentrated on 3 teams. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to say because it's never really happened before, but not a single team below us won a game against us, won a series versus us. Fly, TL, C9. I mean, TL didn't drop a game, but C9 and Fly didn't drop a single game to anyone, not C9 or TL.
The 3 of you beat everybody below.
So it's I don't think that's ever happened before. Maybe it has, but it's it's really hard, and also it's kind of hard to do All-Pro in a single round robin split. You don't see the meta changing enough, in my opinion, to Inspired, for example, spent the whole split playing farming junglers, right? Fly are definitely really good at that style, right? But in a double round robin, the meta might shift, and it might not be farming jungles, and maybe Fly will do worse. I don't know. They did good last split, right, without farming jungles, but that's just my take on single round robin. It's it's really hard because if you're just also specifically in farming jungle meta, the better team will always win. You can't really make that many plays when you're playing farming junglers, and if the enemy laners are just beating your laners, it's not easy to make impact in the game.
Yeah, it's weird to me as well, because I agree that the single round robin makes it difficult to judge the variance in teams. Even though we technically played more games this split than we did last split, because double round robin best of 1 was just guaranteed 2 games and we played a little extra. But even if it doesn't happen in this round of voting, I'm kind of curious how you would evaluate, this is a question I always struggle with when I'm doing All-Pro votes, but how would you guys evaluate a good player on a bad team and how you can tell? Because sometimes it's about, oh, this person's consistently ahead in lane, but then their jungler's running it down, so they're never going to look good, and it ends up being the result of the games, and a lot of times just the quick cursory glance of their stats ends up making your All-Pro or maybe a few highlight plays. But how do you, I'm actually just kind of curious, from the bottom 5 teams, you guys have already mentioned Boogie and Fake God, who stands out? Sniper, obviously.
Everybody on I was waiting for my name there, but
obviously
it's
Sniper.
chill,
But so for you 2 players on the bottom 5 teams, for you players on the other 4 teams that are down there, who would stand out to you as could be deserving of All-Pro votes if they're in a slightly better situation?
I mean, that is kind of hard to decide, I feel because there wasn't necessarily anyone, that stood out when I played against them in scrims or even on stage, So last split, it was Castle for me because I thought he was really good in lane, but then he was probably the worst top laner outside of lane, I actually thought. But this split, there's not necessarily anyone. I just thought you knew because
I don't know. I don't remember. I mean, laning against him, I don't know. Nothing pops up out of lane.
Even he
was that unmemorable?
No, in lane he was not bad. He was pretty good, but
I guess.
Not bad, pretty good.
That's just what I thought.
Yeah, sure. I don't mind. Yeah, you can think of that. I don't mind. I don't have an opinion.
Approval or?
I don't know. I mean, I'm this way. His laning phase didn't make me go whoa, this guy's good.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of different perspective. There's there's a literal handful of players that made me do that. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
I have a
that's
different background.
Fair enough. Okay. Fair enough. No,
I can name you the players that made me go like that. I can name them.
I saw you doing an interview talking about Bin's Jacks.
Yeah, Bin. Landing against
Yeah.
Bin, I was like, whoa, this guy's cracked. I landed against Deshai in 2018, and I was
That
like,
guy was
whoa.
crazy, by the way.
He was
cracked.
insane in
He was
2018.
I remember watching scrims against IG, like when Cena played against IG. It was.
Well, I played like 50 scrims, and I took him out a few times. I'm serious, but I will say this, and I've said this before, but they didn't ban Victor top because they thought it was weak, okay?
Okay.
I was making some movies on him.
Cleaned him.
Was it on stage when you?
Yeah, when I went on stage, Victor had to be removed from the game, just saying.
Oh,
It was
okay.
not allowed. See, Fnatic could not lock in
I
Victor.
remember
It was not
you
allowed.
took us out.
I did take you out as well.
I mean, I didn't play, but I was watching it. We didn't scrim. We didn't scrim that week.
True.
We didn't scrim that week because we got like 0-16 or 0-18 by. At the time, I think it was Damwon and Griffin. We were like,
my.
oh,
Mental boom because of that?
yeah, we were like these challenger teams. I mean, turned out to be Chovy and Tarzan and
That's how we
Shoei,
knew. Like,
and-
when we played against them, we were like, fuck.
we could not like scrim, but still like we were getting shit on so hard. It was like unplayable, and we were like, oh, it's just the fatigue, the world's fatigue. And then we were like,
Excuses?
after we got shut up by the LCK challenger teams, we're not scrimming anymore. We played a whole week of flex queue,
Oh gosh.
And then we didn't know what to pick against Victor, so Eric was like, I'm just gonna first time echo on stage. Like, I don't know what to pick.
You know what's really funny about that? I asked Caps on stage,
Yeah.
isn't this matchup really good for Victor mid?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, I thought so too. Because I was like a Victor player. I would play Victor always mid lane. I would just play Victor mid every game. I was autofilled mid. And I was like, I'm pretty sure I shit on every Echo I ever played against. And when we locked the Echo, I'm like, yo, this guy, it's not going to be pretty.
we had no idea what to pick
Yeah,
versus Victor,
makes
and
sense.
we didn't have bans either because
Yeah.
Akali and Aurelia were completely broken, and we
Yeah.
couldn't play them. So we had to ban it the whole tournament. Worked against Afrika. They played Victor, and he was doing really well.
giga
But
far ahead in
he
that
was
game.
super far ahead, but they couldn't win the game. So
I'm just going to say, like, I haven't seen a top laner get dog walked that hard for 3 games straight, and then still 3-0. Like, holy, like,
I mean-
Keen was absolutely dog walking.
Dennis was going crazy at the Graves, by the way. He was like, I don't know, he was smurfing so hard that
True, yeah.
whole,
Yeah.
the whole series, I think.
I literally don't know what you
Yeah.
guys are talking about. I
Just
do
good
not
old
remember
days.
any
What
of
I'm
these
trying to
games.
say
It was
is,
fun. It was
what
fun.
I'm trying to say is,
That was 2018
People-
Worlds, basically.
yes.
That was a fun
Yeah.
experience. for
Okay,
me.
got you.
People saw my
I was like
0-6
12 years
circle
old,
game
so I
and
have no
thought, like,
idea.
I'm a noob.
I was.
I'm not a noob because I went 0-6, okay? I was
Oh, I
not
remember that game.
outclassed.
Game one. That was game one.
The game 2.
That was game two?
Yeah, game 1 I was going dead even against Sion.
Wait, against who? Who were you?
Shy.
But
Oh,
Sion was
Shy,
so
it was
OP with
against
Iceborne
IG,
that.
gotcha.
But that Worlds, no? Like, it was like Iceborne
Yeah,
Sound.
no, I know. I told my coaches about it. I'm like, if you guys pick this, he's going to pick Sion on 3. They're like, nah, it's the Shy. He won't pick Sion.
And you just picked it.
He did pick Sion.
Wait, was it in the finals?
It was
You guys
fun,
were
yeah.
playing?
We played one finals, yeah.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
this is just quick history. 2018, things were looking up for NA because C9.
We made semis. We made
C9
Oh, semis, you guys
3-0'd.
What the heck?
We made
They
semis.
Well,
3-0'd the
top four.
last
I mean, I
Korean
didn't play.
team.
I didn't play.
Oh,
but-
you okay?
Yeah,
Got
so
you.
he was on the team, but he was
on the
he was
team,
a
yeah.
sixth man. They had Sven Skernis or jungler. Bwipo was on Fnatic as well.
Yeah.
Also 6-man, I guess.
Yeah.
But
Oh, you're also
Yeah.
6-man.
But he ended up starting. He ended up
You guys
starting.
got top 2 in the freaking world
Yeah,
championship.
you guys
That
finally-
is correct.
Wow.
Why
Okay,
do
that's
you
fine,
think a
so-
lot of people like think I have
was-
some respect for me?
Yeah. No. I mean,
I was considered a pretty big deal.
got you. Okay.
Because he played bot lane and top lane that year.
He was telling me actually
Yeah.
that he was playing ADC before.
I remember watching
Wow.
that. I remember watching
Yeah,
that.
Reckless retired fakely
Fake-
It wasn't
fake-
a break,
to
no.
peer
No,
pressure Riot into buffing 80 carries, and it worked.
I don't think. I mean, in our team, it was never a retirement. It was just like, all right, we're just gonna like. We just came to a simple. I don't know why. Like the public maybe speculate on that, but like from our perspective, it was just like.
Because he said he retired. That's why they speculated.
did he make like a
interview
I don't
saying
remember.
He's retired.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, maybe.
He retired for only a couple weeks,
No,
no?
no, no. He's like, no. Basically, I remember now. He said that he wasn't going to play until they buffed 80 carries again because there's no point. Because that's the conclusion he came. It was just like, dude, like, so I was playing mages in Spring Split, right?
Yeah.
And I was a big mage player.
Yeah.
Mage top laner. Like I played Swain, Vladimir, and that's mostly what I played. But anyway, I was known for playing those bad boys, and then. That was the meta, literally. The Swain and Vladimir were number 1 and 2 80 carries
Yeah, I
in bot
remember,
lane.
I
They were the
remember.
best blind pick 80 carries in the game.
Yeah.
Like, well, AP carries, I guess. And
Well-
everyone across the world was playing them, and then Reckless was just looking at me, and like, he was like looking at our staff, and he's like, "Dude, like this guy plays this shit." Like, literally.
Second to
And my
82.
coaches were like, "All right, bet."
Holy
It
crap.
was also
wow.
funnel meta at the time, so it was like a lot better to have mages in bottom because you just needed like someone sufficiently good enough to lane to just play mages bot while your ADC went mid
Do you remember funnel? Do you even know what
crap.
that is?
I remember the Tarek Master Yi thing, like in solo queue.
It was this, but with
that's the only
yeah,
thing
but
I-
it wasn't
that's the only
Tarek.
thing
It wasn't Tarek.
It was, it was Sona Tarek actually, right?
No, it was
No,
like
no,
it was
that-
like
that was the year
Bra-
after.
It was
That
like
was the year after.
Braum in the jungle,
Yeah.
like jungle, and
Yeah.
he
It was
just
Braum, Kaisa running each. Like Kaisa would farm 300 CS in 20 minutes.
Or
And
Zyra
Braum-
Khan.
Yeah, Zyra Khan.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Oh my gosh.
Nunu Karthus was a good
I know.
one.
I played Nunu Kale on stage, or Nunu Kaisa. I played Nunu Kaisa in Academy. It was so broken.
because they didn't have
Holy
reduced
crap.
experience on jungle camps back then.
I lost
so
to
mid laners
Wadid
did super
Yanko
level.
spot lane. Like,
I see, okay.
oh my god.
Wait, what the heck?
It's
I cannot imagine League of Legends like that right now.
It was
Like,
pretty
that
fun.
does
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it's fun for me, like as a jungler. I mean, I think some people might have hated it, like ADCs might have hated it, or mid laners might have hated it. But like for me, like
It was fun.
It was peak. Like I was playing Nunu, farming 0 camps, like pressing. It was old Nunu, so I would just press Blood Boil on my Kaisa. I would like. I remember I played one game against Insanity on Karthus, and I would just run around mid lane with Blood Boil on. He was trying to crush the wave, so my teammate couldn't, or so Sneaky couldn't farm camps and catch the mid wave. And I was just Blood Boil. I just run around in a circle so he couldn't Q me. He just went trying to stop me from freezing, and I don't know. It was so funny.
It was super
What the
degenerate. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
super degenerate.
That's
funnel
exactly
was,
what
but
it sounds
like
like.
a lot of the games, like they fixed funnel in like 2 weeks, like 3 weeks.
Yeah, it wasn't that long. It wasn't that
It was
long.
like 3 weeks of regular season. I remember the funnel being a real thing. I mean, apparently G2 ended up doing it in 2019 as well.
I remember,
But that wasn't really a thing
Yeah.
normally. But AP carry bot lane still was a real thing, which is actually really funny because as a footnote for that era of League of Legends, I always told everyone in my team that the hardest matchups for Swain, Vladimir, and these champions were AD carries.
Oh my gosh.
Anytime I played against like Lucian, I remember Lucian and Varus, I was like, these champs are so much stronger than mages. I don't know why these AD carries are coping. Like, I don't know what's wrong with them. They're so much stronger. It's not even that they were weak at one item, because that was always the cope, you know? It's like, yeah, but at one item, like the Swain and Vlad are so OP. And it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, they are, but Varus and Lucian were not weak at one item.
Yeah.
So,
This is really fun for me, doing a trip down memory lane. I know you might have been a little bit lost or confused, especially about the 2018 World Stories. What has been, like, we're talking about funnel. You've experienced a little bit of lane swapping. Like, what do you feel like the most degenerate thing you've experienced as like a high-level League player?
Degenerate?
Like, basically, if you project yourself 5 years in the future and you're reminiscing about the good old days, like, what are you saying about these last year or two
Yeah.
at LCS?
It would definitely be lane swaps, I think. Like, I was completely new to lane swaps. I had no idea what I was doing, especially like when we were in Korea, just boot camping. I was like completely clueless. I died to like every single lane swap, and it just wasn't a fun time for me, you know? So it would definitely be the lane swaps. That's what it would be for me.
What have you learned about the lane swaps? I mean, a lot, obviously, but like, what was the biggest mistake you would make?
I think just dying on, or like they just always be stacking a wave on me, and then I just die on the third wave, like every single time. I didn't know what to do, you know? Like, I didn't know that I could have just helped my jungler clear his camps. I could have just sat in like the middle bush of like the tier 2 tower, tier 2 top tower. I didn't know any of this, you know? I just kept on dying on the third wave, third/fourth.
And then you end up 2 levels down in the enemy top laner, and then
Yeah, and then you know.
that's usually what happens when you mess up your lane swap.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happened to me every single game. Like when I was in Korea,
Pain.
you know, like
Pain.
Oh my gosh, I was so tilted. It was
At least it's a little different than when lane swaps were super meta, because the top laner would actually just jungle with the jungler because the jungle camp shared experience.
Oh, wait,
So
that,
you would,
that was
you
so
would
long
just
ago.
double
That
jungle. That was like
that was-
2013,
that was so long
2014.
ago.
holy crap.
Yeah,
I can't believe I still remember that. Like,
it's
wow.
League of Legends has gone through some wild changes. I want to bring us back a little bit though, towards playoffs. You guys are all in playoffs. Blaber, you have a bye. You're playing Energy week 1. You're playing Dignitas week 1. What do you expect, or what can fans expect from you or your team as they tune into next week's matchups? It's a scripted question.
Scripted question, got you. Well, expect us to win the series for sure. I feel like our team matches up against Dignitas very well, and especially me, I think I match up against Licorice like really good as well. So we're definitely gonna at least, well, it might not be a 3-0, but I definitely think we'll like 3-1 them. 3-1 them for sure next week.
All right. Bwipo, what about Energy?
honestly, like, I don't know, man. Like, they seem donezo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Am I crazy for saying that?
no,
They seem
you're not
like,
crazy.
Like
You're not
yesterday,
crazy at all.
okay,
2 or
yesterday
3 of them weren't even here. They were sick. though.
Okay, they were sick yesterday, but I don't know. Like, I'm watching their games, like even just
Maybe
like
that was
the one fight where like they're just so not on the same page. Contracts flashes ult the Ezreal. It's actually not bad. But then Yon ults someone else. And then they're like all calling different targets, it feels like. Well, like, I don't know. It's like so crazy to me. Like, they're just so.
They just seem tilted.
Yeah,
no?
they're so. I don't know if they're tilted, but like, they're so. I mean, maybe they are, but they're so not on the same page, it feels like. And I don't know.
That's why I get that vibe. Like, they're like far gone. I feel like.
Downfall of the greats, I don't know.
I'm not sure. They won last split in summer. They didn't look good in regular season. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna
And you
talk
played
shit.
them. You played them too.
You weren't
so-
playing them. You weren't playing Energy.
I wasn't
last
playing.
Year, no?
Yeah,
So-
last year I wasn't playing.
You
Doesn't
weren't
matter.
playing. That's true, actually.
Yeah, I wasn't playing, but they beat you guys.
They did beat us. That was
And
depressing, by the way.
that was not
Like,
expected.
oh my god, like I can't believe we lost to them. I mean, I can believe it, but like,
Yeah, you can.
Basically, I don't want to be.
you
I
don't
don't want
wanna
to
be
be
in
him
that
right now. Yeah, I don't want to be him back then. So, yeah, I don't know. They look like they're completely out of juice. I feel like the whole year and kind of the expectations of them, winning a summer split into
Yeah, just
the whole year. Like that's the best sound I can make
tough,
to describe
yeah.
their year. It's going to be hard to believe that they can create anything other than more of that.
It's going to be wild because they had such a peak it was like such a short peak too. Because even in summer they were the 5th or 6th seed.
It's like the peak of all peaks. It's like summer regular split,
BG2.
playoffs, straight into Worlds, BG2. Like it doesn't get better than that. Like I don't know. It's crazy.
I don't know.
What's on deck for you? Because you don't play for 2 weeks. You have a bye.
Yeah, I mean, we will. It's a new patch going playoffs, so we will definitely be scrimming a lot. We're not going to be taking more than I think 1 day off. I mean, I think we might take like another day off after the week, but like not more than 1 day off at a time. We fully expect to play FlyQuest, but you never know. But yeah, we'll have a good time adapting. I hope to the new patch, and we'll be able to watch Fly's games or Energy's games and try to learn from it and learn how to beat them.
I don't want to spend too long on it if you guys haven't dove into the new patch yet, but are you familiar with patch 14.16? The look you're giving me says no, so we're moving on.
Just ask them the question. Just
a
ask
little
them the
bit. I read
question.
it a little bit.
Anything that is jumping out to you that could disrupt things?
I mean, I think Azir buff is pretty good, and I think D-Blade nerf could be big, but I don't know enough. That's mid lane for me.
What's the nerf?
D-Blade is down 20 HP and 5.5% Omnivamp or 1%, something like that. Azir has 3 more armor, and some other stuff.
Just like a little bit of help against
And I
marksmen.
thought they were going to nerf AP jungle items, like Faded Ashes, but I don't think they ended up doing that. The thing is, I don't have the patch notes yet. I just have what's posted by Freak on Twitter. But sometimes they change that from Twitter to the actual patch notes, and they do it without telling you either. Sometimes, so we'll see like what happens. But I don't know if the meta will change like that much. Yeah.
Who's the guy that posted normally? Flox, right?
Froxon.
Yeah.
Flox?
Yeah, Froxon,
Flox.
yeah.
There's a
Matt.
Flox. There's Flox.
There's a
Frox.
Flox, yeah.
Dude, he needs to change his name. His name's
Froxon?
Matt.
Yeah.
Like it's a very simple name.
Okay. Anyway, he's the GOAT because he posts, but now Freak's the GOAT because he posted when.
Yeah,
Frox the
'cause
1
Frox
week,
is,
Frox
he's like
didn't-
off or something. He's like off or something. Yeah. So
Anyway.
Free posted.
Absolute GOATs. Keep doing it. I love it. And I didn't read them. I usually do read them quite quickly, but I didn't read this one. I just saw Azir getting buffed, and I was like, oh, right, this is like, I turned off the page.
You're like, I'm done.
All right, whatever. Like, I mean, I get it. It's a game. It's professional, and there's casual play. I get it. He needs a buffer. The casuals makes sense. I'm huge on League of Legends because I love champions individually. I only play a specific role because that's my job description. Right.
Very true.
But
You're pretty good at jungle.
but that's why I was pretty good at jungle.
I
Is
thought you were pretty
because
good at
I
jungle.
spend so much time playing any role. I would play champions, not roles, when I used to play a lot. So fundamentally, I believe like everyone has some history as League, and that defines them as a player to an extent, in my opinion.
Yeah.
For example, I know what direction his career is going. You know what I mean?
Which direction is that?
And it does not include Sion.
Okay, I might just switch up my champion.
We're back to the sad debate again.
You can prove me wrong. All I'm trying to say is I fundamentally believe that. You come from solo queue, you have a certain habit. You're going to be, how do I say this? You may be good at a champion or decent at a champion like Sion in the future, but it's never going to be your preference.
I kind of want to hear this discussion. So we're basically done pros, but I want to give you guys a chance to talk about kind of whatever you want if you have something. But I'm just personally curious. You two were talking for at least 20 minutes before the show.
Yeah.
I didn't get to hear the conversation. So what were you talking about? I want in.
We were talking about a lot of things, to be honest.
Okay.
I don't even think I remember everything that we spoke about, but mainly it was just about like.
I remember.
Oh, you remember literally everything that we were
Well, of
talking
course,
about? Well, okay. I can name a
wanted to
couple
talk
things.
to you about these things.
Yeah, of course.
Because I wanted to help you out because you mentioned that you had
that's nice of
like,
you.
you were struggling mentally, and I've always given you a hard time on broadcast, so I felt bad and I wanted to, help you out because like I said, I do think you have a bright future ahead of you.
Thank you. Appreciate
Even
that.
if it doesn't include Sion.
Of course, yes, of course. I appreciate that a lot. But
That's cool. You don't need to disclose everything, but it's cool to know. But
I don't mind.
keep going.
I mean, some of the things that we were talking about were just like, just communicating to your teammates and kind of just like talking with each other about what's important, and just like some things that happen in your games or like your game one.
Yeah, use an
at
example,
least.
yeah.
Yeah, so he was like showing me like an example of it, and yeah, he was basically just like trying to teach me what he learned throughout his career as well, and I do appreciate that a lot. By the way, Bwipo, thank you for that.
Of course.
And yeah, I mean, those are like the two main things that we were speaking to each other about. So yeah, I'm very grateful for that, for sure.
So when are you going to play Sion? Yeah. Now I want to know when's the first Sniper Sion.
Hey, he
Is it
plays
a
Cassante
2025
at least.
thing?
But Cassante's
It's close.
Cassante's not like Sion.
Yeah.
Cassante's like just broken.
Yeah, he is very broken. He can be anything, literally anything you want. I mean, I might bust it out next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hope he never does.
Who knows?
That's the thing. I hope he never does.
No, okay.
If he would, then he wouldn't have listened to my advice very well.
Oh.
Well, okay, that's
One of
very
the pieces
fair.
of advice that I gave him was that I personally believe that individual players have a tendency to gravitate towards a certain style. And that's just the way it is. Like that's what you're best at. And you can spend a lot of conscious effort to break that so that you can be more well-rounded as a player or have something up your sleeve. But fundamentally, everyone has a comfort.
Of course.
That's what you played your whole life growing up.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
that's what I believe you should bring out on stage. And Sion was an argument is because I asked Sniper, I was telling Snipers off meta picks. He asked me, even off meta? And I'm like, okay, why do you think C9 banned Sion against me? Do you think Sion's good right now?
Not necessarily, no, but you're decent at it, you know?
I
And
know
you made
how
it
to
work.
make the champion succeed. I do specific things in the game to make a champion succeed, right? Like Blaber, when he plays a certain jungle pick, will know how to do certain things to make something that other players can't succeed, consistently succeed. And I'm a big believer in that. I'm a huge fan of it. It's why you've seen me play so many different champions over the course of my career, because I believe in fitting the niche of the meta more than this champion is meta because it specifically does that. So for example, Cassante is so powerful in the meta is because you can't really swap into him. You will almost always fall behind, right? That plus he still scales really well.
Yeah.
So if you pick a tank that is hard to swap into that still scales well, maybe you can mimic some of the things Cassante is trying to do.
Yeah, Sion.
And obviously Cassante has certain elements that make him more desirable. But that can bring you to the conclusion of why I think there's a place for Sion in competitive play and why you've seen me use him on stage.
It's if this is true, what else is true?
And I'm a big believer that if you have past experience playing a certain champion or a certain set of champions that can fit that bill, you should play it. You know, Evelyn's a good example, isn't it?
We saw an Evelyn. actually.
Yeah, it was against us as well, you know, so.
It won.
And it worked out, yeah. They did win.
Yeah.
Jungle diff, river diff. I'm just gonna call it river. Straight up, like straight up a jungle diff, you know? He got solo killed by Evelyn. River, I know you're watching this right now. It was a jungle diff, okay? Like, you gotta carry me next week if you wanna make up for it.
There we go. Okay, thanks, River. Thanks, you guys, for joining us. Blaber, Bwipo, Sniper, good luck next week and good luck in the rest of playoffs.
Thank you.
Thank you
You
so
know,
much.
if I could send you all the worlds, I definitely would. But then we also wouldn't be sending Team Liquid. So someone's going to fall. Someone's going to fall. Team
one of you
Liquid
guys,
is so
okay?
well.
One of us? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you got to beat TL, bro. You could just beat TL.
True.
True,
You could just-
actually.
bro, you could just beat TL.
And then it's going to be the three
Fair
of you.
enough, yeah. Then it'll be
And
us
there'll be
three.
the three of us, exactly.
Yeah. No TL?
Well, not really, because if you beat TL, one of us are going to beat TL now.
Yeah, then,
Oh,
then,
okay,
then
that
one
is
of us
true.
will beat
It's
TL.
one of you guys.
Then one of
That's
us will
So,
beat
so
TL.
you got to beat them first.
I don't know about. No, I'm just joking.
Hey, whoa.
No, we're gonna beat them. We're
dude.
gonna beat TL. We
Show
will
us the
beat
way.
TL.
Show us how to do it.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
And then we'll learn from you. We'll learn from you.
There you have it.
Exactly.
That's how it's
Thank
going
you,
to work. Okay, that's it from this episode of Pros. You can also check us out on Spotify as well as weekly on the LCS YouTube channel. See you in playoffs.
Bye bye.
I really randomly enjoyed the 2018 Worlds discussion out of nowhere. I hope you're okay with it, but just like
I love it.
yeah.
Bro, like we were getting shit on by Canyon and Tarzan, and we were just like, what is?
Same. I'm
It is so
surprised that you
funny.
guys
We're
got
like, man, we can't
tilted.
even beat
Dude,
these
yeah, we were
academy
like,
teams.
what is
Really?
happening?
You guys got tilted? Dude, we were playing them and we were like, holy shit, this team's better than IG. Like, we're fucked.